All right, hello and welcome everybody. It is Monday, August 22nd. It is day one of our fall 2016 game plan, 90-day game plan. I guess it's fall, almost fall, end of summer. So I'm really excited. This one somehow feels very different to me. Is anyone, Penny and I were talking about this, does anyone else feel that way? Like there's just something different about this one?
Yes.
I feel differently.
Yeah. Has anyone done one before and it was kind of like, yeah, I'll sort of do it, and then it tapered up, tapered off, or you weren't even really excited to get it started? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because the company keeps doing such a better and better job tools, but this one definitely feels different. So just before I went into recording mode, Megan was sharing that she's getting a little overwhelmed with follow-ups. And I have to tell you, when you do start getting busy, yes, organization is key. And I love using Siri as an assistant. And I think Christine and I talked about this when I was in Puerto Rico. We had some good laughs because she said, Siri doesn't like my accent. For those of you, you can say something like, let's say you get a text from Susie. So, Siri, remind me to call Susie tonight at 8 p.m.
Which Susie?
And then you tell her which Susie if she's in your contacts, or you say the whole name, and she'll create a reminder that'll pop up. So that's really cool. Another thing I've started using, and this is, thank you, Christine, so much for that app suggestion. And it's an app called Recipe Cards, is it? Index Cards. And so what I'm doing, as soon as I put someone in the Facebook group, I take a screen capture of it. I start an index card for them. And then on those indexes, sort them into different.
Whoa.
You could mute yourself. Okay. Anyway, you can put them on different boards, so you can have like a board for initial contacts and a board once they've been added into the group, or there are so many different ways to organize them, color coding, etc. So I'm just starting to work with that. And you know what? The physical index cards are a great tool too. I've used those in the past. So as far as finding a follow-up system, I can't say there's one system that's the best system, because it really depends on how your mind works and what works best for you. Some people love binders, some people like index cards, some people like it all digital. And yeah, we definitely don't want to forget. And sometimes it gets busy, and I do at the end of the day, I'll actually scroll through my text messages once I get into the office or something, and scroll through my Facebook Messenger just to make sure nothing overlooked. All right, anyone else want to share a quick win before we get into it? Well, hello, Ozzy.
Oi.
Welcome. I think Craig's joining us for the first time. So, Penny, you want to say anything?
Yes, Craig. Yay, I'm glad it worked. We're so happy you're here.
Yes, yeah, good. I'm happy to be here. It's just been, it's always difficult to get in, that's all, so.
That is so exciting. Australia's in the house.
Yeah, we need more and more international accents. We've got several beautiful Spanish ones, and now we need more from all over the world.
Yeah.
So I suppose I should officially g'day.
Yes, thank you. You have to represent.
All right, so we always just start our calls with victories and gratitudes, Craig. So we're going to take one more, and then I'm going to jump into the training.
Yep. Sorry, was I supposed to? I missed that. What was that? Should I have said?
We just start the calls with gratitudes and victories, and I know Penny probably has victories she'd probably love to share, because so I'm voluntolding her.
Voluntolding. Well, actually, I definitely, you said this at the beginning of the call of how this 90 days feels different. And I definitely, that resonates with me. And a big part of that is because I've actually been writing down intentions and goals. And instead of like, oh, I answered the question in my head kind of a thing, I'm actually writing it down and paying more attention to that. And just doing some daily internal things that I really think it's making a big difference. And so one of the things I wanted to qualify for holiday pay. I've had a lot of things going on the past 6 months that have kind of kept me distracted. And, holiday pay, that's just 3 enrollments a quarter, and it's one of those things that, and it's not, it's less than what my goal is based on what I really want, but I wasn't putting the intention behind it. And so I wrote it down and I was like, oh my gosh, it snuck up on me. There's only a few days left for it. And it's like, that's okay. It doesn't matter how much time there's left. I wrote it down and I set the intention. And then I was just like, okay, what do I need to do? What are the action steps? And I just tried to stay open to it. And so that person ended up coming, Sunday, late Sunday. And so it was great. But I think that's just a big part of it. And so that's what I want to stress is write your goals down, your monthly goal, if you're doing the 90-day goal, but then even break it down for the week of what you want to see done.
Yes. And of course, the 90-day game plan book has that beautifully laid out for us. So, how many people actually filled that part out? Your week 1, your weekly goal for all of those items on there. Yeah.
I filled it out for last week for the prep week, but I didn't get it done last night for this. So I got to do that tonight.
Okay.
I just finished ordering mine. The Azure sales tool, so it's on its way. So I wanted to have it. I actually want to write things down too, set the intention.
Yes,
So-
definitely. And you can probably view it online, Paul, and you can at least do some of that, even if it's in a notebook or something, right?
That's exactly what I've been doing, and I've been transfer it over into the 90-day game plan book when it arrives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what? Thank you so much for sharing that, Penny. And I too I was like, oh yeah, okay, week 1, yeah, I got this, and answered the questions in my head or in another notebook or anything. So I really plan this 90-day game plan is going to be a tattered hot mess by the time that I'm done with it, because it is laid out brilliantly for us. It really is a beautiful guideline. So, all right, I'm going to start our screen share.
Just to quickly add to that, Penny, I agree with you 100%. This time around, I think that's what feels differently for me is that I'm actually really setting that intention to write things down and write down my schedule. Now my daily schedule will break down and how I'm going to do things over the next 90 days. Feels different. Yeah, for sure.
All right, share screen. Here we go. And of course, we're going to do this whole, let's see if it works this time again, the slideshow. So are you guys seeing one slide or are you seeing the preview?
One slide.
Awesome. Okay, great. So what really is the 90-day game plan? That's kind of the big question, right? What is it? It's a booklet, but what is it when it pertains to how it applies to us? It's a blank page. What it is really a game plan. So any kind of game, and I'm not a huge sports fan, to be honest, so if I screw this up at all, correct me if I'm wrong. However, I do believe that any game that teams go into have a plan. They don't just get out there and, how many people are going to be on the field? Oh, okay, 8, great, let's go. They have a plan, and they have a plan of action. It's drawn out, it's practiced, it's drilled, and they don't leave things to chance. So that's really, really important. So in our back office, hopefully everybody's already signed up for the 90-day game plan. If not, make sure you do that as soon as we're done here. And last night is when week 1 came up. So I hope that they do that every week, that on Sunday is when each week will come up. And it gives you basically a step-by-step process. It took about 20-25 minutes, including watching the Simon Sinek video to complete the week 1. And they tell you which pages in your game plan book it refers to and everything. It's beautifully laid out. I'm just so impressed with what Isagenix has prepared for us. But really what's critical and important, as with anything, my belief is that mindset is absolutely key. You know, if you want a proper mindset, it goes to personal development. It goes to so many things. And there are so many people who want 6-figure results, but they're not willing to take 6-figure actions because their mindset isn't there yet. Their mindset is in a place of scarcity and fear and poverty and paralysis. And you know what? Some people are going to be going on this call are going to be going for it hardcore. And we heard Megan say she's already contacted 50 people. Don't sit there and go, oh my God, well, I'm never going to do that, so I shouldn't even do this. Don't compare, please. Your journey with this is your journey. Some people have 20 hours a week to commit to this. Some people have 30 hours a week. Some people have 5 hours a week. Wherever you are, honor that and do everything you can in a focused way in that. But working on your mindset and your belief in yourself, I think, is really, really key. And all I can say, you know, whether you guys believe in yourselves or not, I know I often, certainly when I started my journey, I had about a level 3 belief out of 10 in myself. And I just had to borrow on the belief of others. I was fortunate enough that, you know, Kathy Coover believed in me, and people like Susan Sly believed in me, and when I didn't believe in myself. So borrow on our belief and on the belief of others, and ask for it if you need it. If you just feeling doubtful or feeling like you're not sure if you can do it, reach out. Do not try to do this on your own. So believe this, you're braver than you believe and stronger than you seem and smarter than you think. I really believe every one of us could say that. And every time you stretch and grow, then this whole level of braver and stronger and smarter grows with you. So one of the first things that I believe goes along with mindset is proper alignment. So think about if there's anything at all in your life that maybe isn't in alignment with your goals. So let's say you do have a goal, and we are going to all be sharing our goals in the group for whatever that is, and there is no right or wrong goal. Your goal is your goal. But let's say you have a pretty audacious goal that you'd like to reach by the end of the 90 days, and we'll start with, you know, the 30 days and the weekly goals. But then maybe you also like to go out 3 or 4 times a week with your friends for drinks. And maybe there are 5 or 6 shows that you are really committed to watching. The Bachelor and Survivor, and I don't know what all shows people are into. Maybe you're into, you know, maybe you're into other time wasters. Maybe you're somehow into negativity or gossiping. Clutter, a lot of clutter going on. So maybe type in the chat box, what are some things that you might have to let go of or release that are not in alignment? Maybe it's going to bed really late. That's a big one for me. I tend to stay up really late, and then I'm not, you know, fresh and sharp in the morning. So that's definitely something that I have to get more aligned and in line with. So think about what isn't in alignment that might hold you back from where you want to be. Clearing clutter, clearing out your office, wiping down the whiteboards, for example. That's a big one for me. I had still stuff from, you know, a quarter ago, people that I'd been working with. So I went out and we actually had to buy that spray to clear off the whiteboards because my whiteboards weren't getting cleaned properly. So okay, so clearing out your cluttered office, great. Wasting time scrolling Facebook, awesome. TV in general, great. And I'm not saying you don't watch TV, for sure, but maybe, you know, PVR it or record it or watch it on Netflix on demand during a time as a reward, for example. Getting sucked into the social media hole. Give yourself a timer, just like we do, you know, do little 5-minute blitzes in the group to contribute to the group. Maybe also set the timer for, okay, I have to go on to Facebook, and Facebook could be contributing to the group, maybe a 5-minute blitz. Maybe you're going to connect with friends who aren't introduced to Isagenix yet. So maybe set it for 10 minutes and you're going there to their walls. You're going to go connect. You're actually purposeful about it and not going down the rabbit hole watching bunny videos and, you know, I do. I watch not bunny videos, but horse videos. I do it. But I have to limit myself. I do it generally when it's not income producing time. So the other big thing that we have to start with, and for those of you who have been on previous training, certainly know about this, and that is the why. Why are you even doing this? And the why actually goes into two parts. There's your personal why, and that one has to be really powerful as well. Your personal why, like when I started, my personal why was survival. My personal why was paying our bills. My personal why was, not losing our home. We were in a really bad place financially. So my personal why was very self-focused at that time, but it was I knew that if this did not work for me, that we were in trouble. So I had a very powerful and compelling personal why. We had just gotten custody of Al's 2 boys, and they were coming to live with us. So we had 2 other little guys to look after. So it was pretty major, and it kept me in that office on the phone every evening for a couple of hours. So maybe if you want to chat, what are some of your whys? Is it your kids? Is it that you want to give your kids an awesome education? Is it that maybe one of your kids is really talented in a certain area and they want to take special classes or go to a special school? What about family? Do your parents need help? Do you have family members that could use your help? Is it giving back? Is that something that really drives you? Or is it really just getting to a place where you can absolutely, with utter certainty and comfort, pay all your bills? That's a great place to start, without having to struggle, without having to stress about money, without having to worry how you're going to pay that credit card off. So whatever your personal why is, be really, really clear on it. And then the one that we really, really want to drill down on as well is that inclusive why. Because me having to, pay the mortgage or pay our bills or pay off credit cards, that's not a very compelling reason why somebody would want to join. So why would somebody want to join you? What is it that you are inviting people to? And we've talked about this whole theme of building a team, building a tribe of people. There's a great book, if it resonates for you, called Tribes by Seth Godin. And that's a really good one that talks about that. And you'll see a lot of the really successful fast-building leaders in Isagenix do a great job of conveying that, moms on a mission. They have something that's mission-based that people resonate with and want to be part of. So you have to also have extreme certainty about that once you figure it out and be able to articulate it. So I heard a great one on our CEO call, and I love this one, and feel free to use it. We don't all have to have a different one, but we have to have one that fits for us. But I think it was Wendy Wanger, and she said she wants to help people say yes to things they previously had to say no to. So think about it. What in your life, and I think I'm going to do a post about this and ask on Facebook, what are some of the things you've had to say no to because you didn't have the financial resources to do it? And if you would just share that in the chat box. So is it, no, I can't get time off to go visit my family? Is it, no, kids, you can't go to that summer camp because it costs too much? Is it, what are some of the ones? I'd love to hear what are some things you guys have had to say no to, or of people having to say no to. No, we can't go to Disneyland because it costs a fortune. It's $100 a day just to walk through the gate. No, I can't get time off work and be at your play because I have to work overtime. Who knows? What is that? Vacation of choice. So many things. Yeah, not living paycheck to paycheck. So that inclusive why, if it's compelling for you, if it's something like that compelling for you, it's very likely there are other people that it would be compelling to, because other people that are having to say no to things. Dance lessons, all the dance lessons you want. Yes, that's fantastic. So really work on that one. And here's the thing, if your why isn't strong enough, if my why isn't strong enough, I will want to quit. for sure. And if during this 90-day game plan, you don't want to quit at least 2 or 3 times, you're probably not digging deep enough. So that's something to consider as well, that we are going to want to quit. And that's why we're doing this together. And that's why we have each other to draw upon. So, so knowing your why, being able to articulate your inclusive why is really, really important. All right, so the stages of kind of how to show up in this business. This is a great training that Susan did that really resonated. I'm going to share it with you guys. All right, so stage 1 is babyhood. So when you're a baby, everything's really exciting. You know, you got your first box and you're loving your shakes and you love how you feel, and every new product you try, you're just so excited. It's amazing. And you got your first cycle or your first bonus, you enrolled your first person, and it's just all fresh and exciting. And yeah, first time you try new products, first time you get a catalog, first time you maybe get recognized. So, but the reason babies will never really grow a successful business because they are very codependent. And I've certainly been in that baby phase in my business of codependence, and that's very different from interdependence. So excitement is great, and we want to maintain that excitement and that wonder and all of that. But codependence is not something that's going to help us grow a business. So then the next phase is toddlerhood. And toddlerhood is when you're, you know, in that phase of exploring and you're learning things, and you're learning about your back office, and you're learning about all the tools, and maybe you're learning about the 90-day game plan, and you're just into everything. You're listening to all the podcasts, and you're exploring in your back office, and you're learning. Now, toddlers are very unlikely to grow a business because they tend to not listen. They tend to have tantrums. They're defiant. They often do what opposite of what you guide them to do or try to tell them to do. And they might even kind of sometimes hurt themselves. You tell them don't touch the food, they touch the stove, or don't go by the stairs, they fall off the stairs. So toddlers can be a little defiant and a little destructive, but it's usually destructive to themselves. So that's why toddlers are not likely to build a business. Then the next phase is that can be problematic. I mean, of course, there's childhood, but that usually doesn't get crazy again until the teenage years. Now, why would teenagers not likely be able to build a business? Well, they rebel. They want to do things their own way, right? They don't want to listen to their parents. They don't like guidelines. They don't like rules. They want to, so how would that show up in business? You know, you're going to break off and do your own group or your own calls or your own systems and do it differently than what's spelled out because you just want to do it your own way because, of course, the parents can't be right. And there's a lot of ego, of course, in teenagehood. And, you know, there might be a lot of gossiping and talking about people. And actually in that teenage stage, that rebellious stage, can wreak a lot of havoc. And it's not usually just to self, it can also affect other people. So that's something to be aware of. And just think about where you are or where you have been. And I've probably been in every stage of this. I definitely, you know, early on thought I could do better systems and I could create better flyers and I could do better presentations and I could do it differently and that's what would be unique and everything. So I'm saying this from a place of probably having been in all of these. And then finally, at some point, we reach adulthood. And, you know, somebody who's in an adult phase of their business, they embody the corporate values. And if you don't know our corporate values, find them online. It's beautiful what, you know, the mission of this company is beautiful, but even our values, our core values are pretty impressive. So it aligns. They don't do gossip. They don't do drama. They're organized and systemized. So think about maybe who embodies the qualities that you admire in adulting or being an adult in this business, and then mirror that. I'm not saying be a copycat or try, I'm not saying be Susan Sly or be Tracy O'Malley or be Zach Slobin, but mirror those qualities in your own way, still maintaining your own kind of stamp on things. So let's see in comments, which person are you going to be, and can you relate to any of the stages that we just talked about?
Mhm.
Just in the chat box. Let's see. Oops. Oh, anyone chatting in?
Yes.
Teenager? Yes, I definitely was. I think I probably spent the most time at teenager, personally speaking. All right, so just type your answers in there, where you maybe are or have been and where you're going, where you'd like to be. All right, so to get this 90-day game plan in action and going, we want to set everyone up for success, of course. And one of the key things that we, of course, in our business have to look after is our health. So where are you at with that? Where are you at with your health? Are you, a product of the product? Are you doing enough self-care? Are you taking care of yourself holistically, your spiritual needs, your physical needs, your psychological needs? Are you taking some downtime to recharge? Are you spending time with friends? Are you taking time for fun? That's the one thing we don't want this to become, just so it's like go, 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 and you forget to have fun and you end up burned out like crazy by the end of 90 days. Are you in the IsaBody challenge? That is kind of a non-negotiable, being in the IsaBody challenge. It points in the, never mind just that it's a great thing to be in. We all know why, the $200, etc. But also it earns points in the $1 Million Challenge. So there's absolutely no reason why. I don't care if you're at your perfect weight and have no health goals and have nothing you want to gain or lose or anything, still enter the challenge, please. Healthy mind and body, that's another one. It's so important. I'm gonna actually do it round 2 because it's been a while since I've done it, and I just think it's such a fantastic program. So health is really critical. Make sure you take care of yours and do not burn yourself out, please. All right. So keys to success. What would you guys say is one of the biggest predictors to be successful in this business?
Having the right skills.
That's part of it for sure, and we're going to talk about skills. But even ahead of skills, I think, Penny, you were talking, I unmuted you. Were you saying something?
Oh, I didn't know if we were all muted. One of the biggest indicators of success, I think, is our beliefs. Like, it's what's going on in our head.
That's another big one for sure. We talked about that. So the picture's a clue. If anyone can guess who this
Teamwork.
And who's this guy? Would you say?
Who are you pointing to? People.
The guy in the middle with the headset.
He is the coach or the singer?
He's the yes, this is a new singing
It's
group.
a coach.
He's
Yes,
the coach.
Coachability. So the lack of coachability is the number one reason people don't succeed, according to Susan Sly. And I truly believe that. Are you coachable? And are you coachable to people who have earned the right to be coaching? There are a lot of people I see who follow other people's systems and follow other people who maybe aren't where you want to be. So think about that. Whose systems are you following? Who are you being coachable to? And are they showing success through their systems? And you guys, anything that I teach or share with you guys is stuff I haven't made up any of it. I promise you. It's all stuff I've learned. I've learned it from Susan's Live, from Jimmy Smith, from Eric Worre, from people who I admire in the industry. So think about if you're being coachable, and I mean truly coachable to the point of doing things that maybe you don't understand, that maybe aren't comfortable. I was so uncomfortable, and a lot of you have heard me say this about three-way calls. I thought they were ludicrous. I didn't want to bother my friends with somebody else they didn't know on the phone. I thought that was just weird. But when Kathy Hoover told me that three-way calls were the best tool in our tool belt, I committed to doing them. And now, you guys, a lot of you know, I love three-way calls, and I think they're a very, very powerful tool. So if you're, you know, if you're being coached on how to set up your Facebook, how to connect, how to properly introduce people, how to set people up for success, following the steps to success, how to do three-way calls, and how to do the skill part of it, as Paul mentioned, and you're not doing those things, then don't be surprised by your lack of results. So maybe write down who you are going to be coachable to. So, and realize that coachability is a number one predictor to success. And one thing I'll say this, and you know, some people might not like hearing this. I know some people will be watching this on replays. Maybe some people won't watch it at all. But how you show up in this 90-day game plan is a very good indicator how you're probably showing up in your business. And I get it. There's stuff everybody could be doing on a Monday night. We have friends in from Canada who invited us to dinner. So I could have just said, oh, we'll do the call next week, or we'll do it another night, or I could have done something. But it's important enough for me to be here to show up. And do we have to juggle life sometimes to make it happen? Absolutely. But think about this. Think about if I said to you, if you can find that 1 hour a week to be on these team calls, and by consistently doing it and applying the things that you learn, you're going to earn $40,000 this year by showing up for 1 hour a week. Would you find a way to do it? I mean, you guys did, so I know your answer. But think about the people who said, yeah, I'm all in, I'm in on the 90-day game plan, and they're not here, or they'll be here half of the time. And the other thing is, a lot of people will quit by the time we're done. I would love to see every single one of you finish this 100%. And Craig, I know that you work, so you're a little different time zone and everything. So I know sometimes it's unavoidable. So this was not directed at you at all. All right. So this was from Susan. If someone is achieving what you desire and is willing to give you advice that you refuse to take, then you are not coachable. So think about how coachable are you truly being. And you know what? Sometimes, I'm going to go back to this because I feel like I'm harping on this, but sometimes I know I have found this for myself. The thing I'm resisting the most is the thing that I need to do the most. So if there are things you're finding yourself really resisting in this business, explore that and think about why. And are you willing to break through that resistance and see if there is a breakthrough that happens from it? All right. So next, of course, as Paul said, is skill set. And you might feel like this a little bit, like, oh my God, there's so much. I think Megan was feeling a little bit like this. I'm learning new things and there's new tools and oh my God, and there's not enough time. So it's okay to feel like this. Believe me, just don't let it paralyze you. And also don't compare your skills to someone who's in a different place in their journey. You know, Malcolm Gladwell talks about to become an expert at anything, it takes 10,000 hours. And I would probably bet that there's not anybody on this call yet who's invested their 10,000 hours. So don't expect that you're going to be a, efficient, know it, everything professional with all the skills locked down until you have those hours to get that schooling behind you. And speaking of skills, there really are not a ton of skills. I know it seems like a lot, but there are 8 fundamental skills that you have to learn. And then you just have to repeat them and repeat them and repeat them and repeat them. And I know it may seem monotonous, but really it's doing the same things. I've had people get on trainings. They said, well, this is the same stuff we learned on that last, MIT or the last series of trainings. Yes, because the skills don't change. Don't look for some secret locked away somewhere. It's these skills, and people are just doing them more and more. So what do we have to learn? To share our story. We've done trainings on that. How to book appointments, presentations. We've done trainings on that. How to present. We've done trainings on that. And you need to be able to present in person, online, using the VIP groups. There are lots of different ways to present. How to handle objections. We've done trainings on that. How to enroll someone. We've done trainings on that. And if anybody needs a reference to those, just ask where those trainings are. Launching using the 8 steps to success. That is so key, you guys. I cannot say enough about how important it is. And maybe you can't take everyone through all the 8 steps in their first 48 hours. That's okay, but just make sure it gets done however you can. And use the team. Don't try to do everything yourself. That's the beauty of leverage. Use 3-way chats to get people through some of these 8 steps, especially if you're super busy. Converting to consultant, so rank advancing, helping people get paid, basically. Penny, you need an e-shop. And getting people to an event in the first 30 to 60 days. And if it can't be a physical event that they can get to in a city near them, then a webinar, a training, a Zoom call, those can all be events. And as I mentioned, repetition is the key to mastering anything. All right, now habits. We need to have skills, and once you have your skills and your mindset and all of that in place, then having good habits is kind of what ties it all together. So what are some good habits? Having people taking a look. And maybe you're not in a place right now time-wise that you can do 3 by 3 by 3, meaning 3 people taking a look, 3 follow-ups, and 3 pouring greatness. Maybe it's 1 by 1 by 1, but something consistently that you are doing to touch your business every day. And that pouring greatness into someone, it doesn't have to be someone on your team. It can be complimenting the cashier who checks you out at the grocery store because they did such a great job. It can be holding the door open for someone as they're struggling with their packages and saying hello, have a great day. So that pouring greatness doesn't have to be, it's so easy to do this 3 times a day, you guys, you have no idea. Personal development daily. Today was a huge day of personal development for me. I think I invested 3 hours today, which is a lot, but for me, a half an hour a day is non-negotiable. So that's either listening to something very inspiring, reading a personal development book. I'm not a huge podcast person. I prefer to read, but whatever works for you. If listening is great, find a podcast that you love that really fires you up. And when I say personal development, I don't necessarily mean listening to podcasts from our scientific advisory board, although those are great. I mean the listening or reading those things that are going to help you grow as a person, that are going to build belief in yourself. Because of all the beliefs we have to have in this profession, the belief in self for most people is the one that needs the most work and the one that gets the least work. So people, they listen to webinars and listen to podcasts and learn all about the company and learn all about the products. Our product belief, you guys, we're so lucky. Our product belief is so easy because we've all experienced amazing results. So you don't have to study white papers and university studies and all of that to know that our products work, because we've experienced it. A lot of companies, they don't have product stories like we have, so they have to do a lot of that education. So belief in yourself is a huge one, and belief in the profession, of course, is usually next. Plugging into our Facebook groups, daily habit, a daily habit. It takes minutes a day. Staying organized, Keeping a log of your income producing activities. Sometimes people say, yeah, I'm working, 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week. And when we actually break down what they're doing, they're not doing income producing activities. So who wants to share with me what income producing activities actually are? Who's willing to share?
Enrolling someone?
That's the number one income producing activity. Absolutely. Enrolling someone. And there are some that are sort of secondary to that, obviously presenting to someone, meeting with someone. Those things all precede the enrollment. But income producing activities are not going through your back office. It's not scrolling Facebook and clicking like on a bunch of posts that you see. It's not listening to 3 podcasts a day. Those are not income producing activities. So keep a log of what your daily activities are, and then go back and say, okay, which of these actually could lead to me earning income, meaning you enrolling someone, or you rank advancing someone on your team, because that also would lead to income the way our comp plan is structured. So that might be an eye-opener for you, keeping a log of all your income-producing activities. Staying positive, of course, I think that that goes with staying positive. That goes with personal development. That's one of the things that helps me. And then that self-care that we talked about, and attending events, including this call, and then personal responsibility. Taking responsibility for where you are. What are some bad habits? Okay, let's go over those. Here are some not good habits at all. Gossiping, negativity, binge watching television, drinking during the week. And listen, if you want to have a glass of wine with dinner and that's your thing, or you have a glass of wine at bedtime, but I think drinking where it's affecting what you're doing, that's definitely a bad habit. Not working out, not doing something physical, not being careful with your money, not attending events, blaming others for lack of results, and making excuses. Any other bad habits you guys can think of?
Hitting snooze.
Hitting snooze. Oh, yeah.
Going to bed too late.
Uh-huh. That's definitely,
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And that is a habit. So the gossip one, Susan had us first. And, think about this. If somebody is gossiping to you about someone else, think about this. They may be gossiping about you someday. Like people who gossip or make it a habit to talk about others instead of talking to others about whatever the issue is, it's not a good thing. And it could someday come back and bite you on the bum. And I often think about this, and Susan has a kind of a no gossip, no negativity policy. And it's a very good one, because when you think about it, also, I think about if somebody wants to come to me to badmouth someone, why do they feel like I'm the kind of person that would be open to that, right? So that's not something that very often happens at all in my life. Like I don't have people coming up to me in an event and say, what do you think of so-and-so? Or can you believe so-and-so did that? Or did you hear so-and-so did that? It just really doesn't happen. It used to, for sure. And it's a habit. It's a habit that we can absolutely break. All right, so we keep having all these game analogies. So scoreboard. What is our scoreboard for this event, for this 90-day game plan? Do you guys know that Isagenix actually built us a scoreboard for this? Do you guys know what it is?
No. The $1 Million Game Plan?
Yes, it is. $1 Million Challenge. How many of you have checked your points?
No.
All right. Well, make yourself a note and check your points in the $1 Million Challenge, because it's tracked in your back office. Oh, just real quickly, going back to the bad habits, do think about for yourself, and you don't have to share this publicly, what are some bad habits that you may want to work on during the course of this 90-day game plan? And if you want to be, you know, let's say your goal is to become a 1-star Golden Circle or a 2-star Golden Circle or a Crystal Executive or whatever your goal is, do you have the habits that a 1-star, 2-star Crystal Executive would have? I know 100% I do not have the habits of a 5-star Golden Circle, because if I did, I would be one. So that's a reality I have to face. I don't have those habits yet. Can I develop them? Absolutely. But it's really facing where we are and taking a look in the mirror. All right. So the $1 Million Challenge, if you missed the training on that, we have done one. It's in the Isagen, it's in, not in there, it's in our VIP business group. So you can certainly review that, or just on Isagenix Business or ISA FYI. So what are the business activities? I think knowing your numbers is really important. The people in the top 10 have very impressive numbers. They're people who built hard and fast. They were doing 7 to 9 presentations per day, either personally or for their team. Now, I'm not saying we're all going to start doing 7 to 9 presentations per day, but how many do you want to do per day or per week? Have a number and know your numbers. If you're doing a 3-way call for someone on your team who has a potential or a prospect on the phone, that counts as a presentation. So in order to enroll 10 people, you may have to do 50 presentations. It's really important to know your numbers. And then starting, once people do start, making sure that they start the right way. All right, so actions for touchdowns. One thing here, make a note of this, you guys. You have to have hours of operation. You have to have some sort of hours of operation, whether it's from 7 to 9 after dinner, whether it's 12 to 12:30 to do cleanse coaching on my lunch break, and then from 7 to 8, I'm going to do prospecting calls. Whatever those hours are, you have to have some sort of guideline. Otherwise, you're just, yes, you can fit this into the pockets of your lives, and yes, you can meet with someone and talk to them while you're grocery shopping, which isn't during your business hours. However, business hours for income-producing activity is really, really critical. You know, having a daily method of operation. Having a professional voicemail and a signature line on emails. We've talked about that. That's just, you know, I think Lauren Raymond has one of my favorite voicemails that I've ever heard, and it's maybe she can share it when I stop talking. But it's fantastic, and it puts a smile on my face every time. And you know, it might get somebody curious if you say something cool on your voicemail. And I know a lot of people don't leave voicemails anymore, but you know, I still get probably. A lot of people don't leave a voicemail. They just, you know, expect you to call back when you have a missed call, which is cool because we have that arrangement. But I still probably get 5 to 7 voicemails a week. So those people are hearing my voice say something as they're waiting to leave their voicemail. So what is your person waiting to leave a voicemail on your voicemail hearing? Are they hearing an automated thing saying, you've reached 801-608, or are they hearing your voice saying something that might pique their interest? Be professional when setting appointments and telling someone you're going to follow up with them. Tell them also, I'm going to send you, okay, so we're going to touch base tomorrow at 8 p.m. Awesome. I'm going to send you a calendar request so we both have it in our planner or in our calendar. How many of you are using calendar requests? It's very powerful. It's professional. When I make appointments in places, my hairstylist, I get a text back with the time. If I make appointments for a massage, I get a text with the time. I get an email confirming the time. So that's professional. Let's be professional and come across as professional. Also, okay, here we go. Some more action steps. If you haven't registered for the 90-day game plan, back office, hover over training, click on join, or I'm in, I can't remember what it said, and do week 1 is up right now. creating your hours of operation. Print out 30 membership applications. Because that, to me, you know what, every time I print out a whack of applications, I end up using them. So it's setting that intention and having them on hand. I always have a catalog on hand with several applications in it. That's always with us. So you got to be ready at any time.
Is that the membership enrollment forms?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Make a new list. If you don't have 100 names list yet, or you have one that you've kind of worked through, make a new one. A lookbook. I don't believe we have to buy a lot of tools. I think we have such amazing free training. Do you guys know there are people who have to pay so much money for training through their companies, and what we have for free is everything we need. The one tool I do love is the lookbook. I think it's very, very powerful. So, however, you don't even have to download it because it's in ISA Sales Tools to go. How many of you registered for the ISA Sales Tools training that I organized tomorrow night with JJ? All
I
right.
didn't.
I don't know. There's one tomorrow. What time?
Yeah, I organized it with JJ from Sun Concepts. He's training us on all the cool stuff ISA Sales Tools does, including sending people a digital lookbook. And the other cool thing is you can see who watches your. If somebody goes back and looks at what you sent them 3 times, it tells you. It's really, and I know that I don't even know half of what it does right now. ISA Pulse, if you don't have ISA Pulse, please download it and please put your picture in it. So, I love posting little recognition things, and it's nice when we do a screen capture that it has your picture in it instead of just the little gray outline. Have some sort of planner. It doesn't, oopsie. Holy Hannah.
Sports. Right on.
Goodness. This went totally the wrong direction. All right.
There you go.
It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I've done everything from making my own planner to buying fancy, pretty, beautifully designed planners. And the one I use, and I'm not saying you have to use this one, Susan just uses a date planner, very simple black one that has, it has, of course, the monthly section, but mine just has, I'll show you, an empty week. So it looks like just a day by day, each day, and then long task pads on each side. But just, I'm a big believer still in paper planners. Keeping track of your activities and follow-ups and the 3 touches and all of that is so much easier to do on a paper planner. So have one, whichever one works for you, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. Again, ISA Body Challenge and Healthy Mind and Body. Even if you've done it, I'm going to do it for another time. So those are your touchdown action steps. And here
Stephanie, sorry to interrupt you. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you only do 2 ISA Body challenges back to back? I don't think you can do a third one, right? If you've already entered 2, or do you know?
I thought we could do up to 3 a year, isn't it?
But I thought you could do as many as you want. I mean, only 3 fit in a year.
Okay.
So I think that's why you can only do 3.
Okay. I thought it might be only 2 or something. Okay.
How about this, Paul? How about if you have time, can you jump on ISA Chat after this and find out and let us all know? Because
Sure.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Stephanie, I've done 5 in a row, so
Oh, there you go.
it's
So
not a problem.
now we know.
Okay. Thanks, James. Thank
No
you.
problem.
Save yourself an ISA Chat. All right, so this is these are our success steps, please, guys. Sorry, I screwed up and did an event. So Penny, your beautiful post on your goals is erased now, and you have to post it again, I guess.
Okay.
Your 90-day game plan goal. Just transfer it. You should have it written in your booklet, or type it up, or take a picture of it. But please do share it and include your 30-day goal. And what I would encourage you to do is something called front loading. If you have a goal of enrolling, I don't know, say 30 people in the next 90 days, shoot for half of them to be done in the first 30. front loading the week is doing most of your activities, say on Monday and Tuesday. Front loading your 90-day game plan is trying to get as, rather than just saying, okay, I'll do a third of it in my first month and a third in the second month and a third. Why not go for trying to do half in the first month? So front load your game plan, include your 30-day goals. And please post your inclusive why and your days and hours, that should say days and hours of operation. Okay, does everyone have that?
Mhm.
All right. And that's it. Wow, we finished on time. Amazing. So I would just love some takeaways and more questions if anyone has any.
I was just looking at the FAQ for the $1 Million Game Challenge, and I didn't include that in my, I've opted in and everything, and I've earned 10 points. I looked it up, but I didn't include that in my goal as far as like how many points my goal is, during the challenge. So I'm going to add that to my 90-day game plan.
That is fantastic. Actually, let's add that. And my honey, I think, is taking notes of the success step assignment. So babe, add that as one more thing to post. How many points we want to earn. I want to win the prizes every month. So I'll post that again. I'll repost what the prizes are each month and how many points. So yes, thank you for that, Penny. All right, who's next?
Hey, Stephanie, I just have a question with regard to, I guess, over the next 90 days, how to improve myself as a leader with others. And I'm kind of thinking about something that happened that I'm dealing with at FedEx right now. How do you strike the balance between trying to, I guess you said, have that coachability, but at the same time making sure you're open to receiving, open to feedback from others, I guess, is the question I'm asking. I have somebody who's, you're trying to talk and say something and give some feedback at work, and they're, it's all about them and they just wanted to do it their way. So I'm just trying to figure out a better way for myself going forward as a leader. Like, how do I strike that balance? Do you know how I would best do that?
So with someone you're working with at FedEx? Yeah.
It's just, it's all about them and they just want to do it their way. And they just it feels like it's condescending. Sometimes they just talk down to somebody and I don't know.
And what's your relationship to them? Are you coworkers? Are you their boss, or what's the?
This is the thing. I mean, I would say a senior coworker, but they're more like an operations manager. So they're my superior, but at the same time, I'm one of the more senior staff members there. So I'm just trying to figure out a way to because others look to me there on the belt often to help train and do other things because they rely on me. They like my approach. And so I'm just trying to figure out how do I approach the manager and try to give feedback and do certain things without incurring, that kind of, I guess, conflict, if you want to look at it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I think that has to be somewhat permission based. Like everyone's here sort of, and by virtue of being here and opting into this, I feel like any coaching or whatever or training that I might be doing or we might be doing is permission based because everyone opted into this. So maybe you have to have a conversation to gain that permission, listen, I have some ideas that I'd love to share. I don't know if you're open to it or not, but if you are, would it be okay? Or how would you like me to present those ideas to you? What would work for you? Since it's about them, kind of make it about them. Does anyone have I haven't worked in the corporate world in a very long time. So does anyone have any other thoughts?
It was interesting.
Yeah, Paul, I'll just step in for a second. I think the biggest thing is when it's somebody who is above you in the hierarchy, then you need to get on side with what they're up to. So, the best thing is to figure out, so what are they trying to achieve? And is there a way for you actually to do what you already want to do in a way that they perceive as helping them get what they want? Because otherwise, they're just going to be in your way.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, James.
No problem.
Penny, do you have any thoughts? I know you worked in the corporate world once upon a time.
No, I mean, I think I agree with what you say. Like if there's something there that is it just about the work? Sometimes it's just about the work and it's about the project and people have different approaches. And other times, there's something in the way that needs to be addressed. Maybe
They're just not very
offended the
tactful.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just not very tactful in the way they approach it. So I hear that from other people who talk to me in confidence. Like I said, I'm just, I work there on the belt and people feel they can confide in me. I guess just, again, it's my approach, the way I do it. But, they sort of ask, well, why can't she be more open to this? Or why can't she be this and that? So that's why I was sort of thinking about what Stephanie was saying about how would you like me to approach you on this? Maybe it might be a better way to ask a question, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's why I'm so glad.
Open communication, I think, yeah.
Open,
Yeah.
okay.
And
All right.
that whole permission based. Thank you, Paul. All right.
Thank you.
A couple of takeaways. What are you guys excited about? Did you learn anything?
Yeah, I'll share since I'm unmuted. Two things. Number one, I'm really excited that, you've really laid out a game plan that's in alignment with what corporate is doing. And, between the two, it's going to be pretty hard for us to, not achieve success unless we just refuse to pay attention to what you just told us. And number two, I'm really excited that we have an amazing coach, because that's what you started with. It wasn't a singer, it was a coach. You're not you're a pretty good singer too. But yeah, I'm just thrilled that we have an amazing coach to guide us through it. And 90 days is a long time, but with good coaching and an amazing team, which clearly we have, this is a slam dunk.
Thank you, James. And you know what? Everyone on this call is a coach. I really believe that. I learn stuff from you guys regularly. So thank you for that. Before we hang up, and I would love one more share. Tomorrow, again, because we're now the 90-day game plan focus, but tomorrow we're doing another Whisper campaign, if you guys remember the black and white pictures. And I think there might have been a few little kind of things that weren't clear. So if anyone has any questions on that, tomorrow, the focus of the Whisper campaign, and just to, and Penny, please, you and I talked about this and you articulated it really well, so I'll try to. What it's meant to do is to just only create curiosity. So we don't want to be saying message me or ask me how or my new program now, It really is, it's almost like you're doing an incomplete communication, if that makes sense. So if I hold up the paper and it says, now I get to feel amazing, I wake up healthy and vibrant, and I feel better in my 50s, and maybe that's too long, but 50s than I did in my 40s. That's it. And yes, you can type it, you can type it in the word section, or maybe a little piece of what you wrote, but just don't say too much. You want people to kind of go, huh? What is she talking about? What is that about? Penny, do you want to say anything else to that?
Yeah, because I went back to make sure I was clear on at least how Emily's team was doing it, just to kind of get the idea of what they were doing. And it really seemed like that and you could see that I was looking at it halfway through their whole campaign. So I was getting kind of a mix of different messages. But if I looked at the dates, I could see the pattern of, which ones were all about how they felt physically and then financially, et cetera. But I think what they did in, the ones they posted a picture, and then if it said, I feel better in my 50s than I did in my 40s, in the post, they would write something else, but they wouldn't necessarily say, I felt better in my 50s than I did. They wouldn't say the same thing that the picture said, but they certainly wouldn't say, now because I do Isogenics and I have a shake every day, or I found this great nutritional program, or they wouldn't give any answers. It was all just about creating the question to give them the opportunity to ask the question. And then, you know, maybe they'll ask the question next week or whatever, but to build that anticipation of, are they going to tell us the answer?
Yes. And that's a great point you made. You guys don't expect that suddenly we're going to have this flood of, you know, people immediately. It is a campaign, and they've been doing it for weeks. I think they're about 3 or 4 weeks ahead of where we're starting. The other thing is I did look up the hashtag on Facebook there, Fuel the Change, and I noticed that it's on other posts. Let's please use that, what we said, the very inspired people who fuel the change. Please, let's for now use it only on that Whisper campaign, because I clicked on the hashtag and I found a post with a shake, for example. So that was Dawn's, I think. You can go back and edit that maybe and just remove that hashtag from that post, Dawn. That would be great, because what we want people to scroll through is a series of black and white pictures. It's very startling to have that kind of consistency of message, instead of like, oh, a black and white with a paper, black and white with a paper, oh, there's a shake, oh, and then a black and white with a paper, black, oh, and there's a workout. So that's the reason for, you know, keeping the hashtags consistent to that.
And so may I just say one thing about that? So to be clear, the Very Inspired People hashtag, that one we can still use all the time. But Very Inspired People, space, who's, space, hashtag, fuel the change, that is only for this.
Yeah. And I almost wondered if, I don't know, you guys, it would be so long. I almost wondered if it should be one hashtag. You know what I mean? Very Inspired People who fuel the change as one hashtag, but we started it that way. So hopefully in another, like once we have 3 weeks behind us, then I'd like us to maybe occasionally say, hey, click on this hashtag and just do the fuel the change one, so that it is that consistent. We really would love to have 30 people go tomorrow. So I know Christine has about 5 that she thinks might be following along. So maybe reach out to people tonight, get them to take their picture, get it ready, put the reminder in their calendar for 8 o'clock Central, because I thought it was, we only had just really a handful of us doing it last week. And I thought it was really cool that it all kind of jumped out. So
And oh, go
Can I
ahead.
just say, so it's how we're like, so before it was, I was feeling, so now it is like the changes in you.
right, but not necessarily saying I've changed in this way, but just saying
Yeah, like just like last week, I was feeling, and we said tired, weak,
yeah.
worried about our future. That's all we put, right?
So you could say something like, so you could say something like, I wake up energized every day and I've dropped 25 pounds. I feel amazing, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, I think that's the best way I can articulate it. It's almost like,
The way you were and the way you are now.
yeah, but without doing the before, I said, and after, now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it's
say
this
I was
one-
and then now, right?
No, but this one is only just how we feel now.
Now.
yes.
That's what I'm saying. Tomorrow it is now. How I feel now.
Yes.
Right. As a result, but we're not saying as a result.
Right.
And we're not referencing how we used to feel, because we did that last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's almost like an incomplete sentence or an incomplete, like, you want people to go, what the hell? What? What is that? What does that mean? I don't even
And
know.
if you have a really long one, like what you said for, like whatever, if it's a really long one, you can just put part of it on the picture and the rest of it you could put in the post.
Yeah.
Like you can elaborate on it or whatever, so that it's like.
Yeah, so if everyone could reach out to maybe a couple of people on their team, then we can, I'd love to see 20 to 30 people doing this tomorrow. I think it'd be awesome. And invite more and more and more. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm so excited about this 90-day game plan. And let's just focus on 30-day segments so it's not so daunting. And stay active in the group. Reach out for help if you need it. With anything, organizing, 3-way calls, approaching people, making your list, whatever you need help with, just reach out, okay? We're all there to support each other. There's no right or wrong. everybody's on their own journey, and we honor and support you wherever you are. And I'm so grateful that you were on this call, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Excited, guys. I'm excited. This is going
Thanks,
to be
Steph.
good.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay,
Thanks.
good night, everybody.
Bye.